With the announcement of Classic TBC months ago, myself and many others believed that the chance of Blizzard creating any fresh content for vanilla World of Warcraft had disappeared like J. Allen Brack. And yeah, seriously, what the fuck happened to that man? He's vanished. Bobby Kotick might as well have taken him out fishing like Frodo from The Godfather Part 2. For me, knowing that any chance of having a Classic Plus version of Vanilla WoW was gone was a real disappointment, as the prospect of enjoying the original game and then having the opportunity to explore new zones, class quests and instances was always a really exciting and imaginative idea. With that being said, I'd never expected it to become a reality, as unfortunately, Blizzard always goes where the money is, and that tends to often mean picking the easier option, which in this case was always going to be releasing Classic TBC and presumably Classic Wrath of the Lich King in a few years' time. Hell, who knows? Maybe we'll have Classic WoD in 20 years when I'm an old man and my saggy balls are hanging down by my knees.
Nice.
So why am I making this video? Well, there may just be a chance that Classic Plus is still on the table. Last week, players discovered a new build on the PTR, a build for Phase 1 of Classic WoW. On its own, this doesn't mean a whole lot, but there's also the fact that a month or so ago, Blizzard released a survey gauging players' interest in the concept of Classic WoW with new additional changes. This would suggest that their intention is to release fresh vanilla Warcraft servers and then potentially add additional changes further down the road. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm doubtful that Blizzard would ever go so far as to add significant new patches to Classic, which is a shame because that's what I would really want. But this possibility of fresh vanilla realms, separate from the TBC experience, might just leave an opening for that new content further down the road. All of this raises two big questions for me. One, what features might appear in a Classic Plus product? And two, which is the more important question, can we as players even trust Blizzard to deliver that Classic Plus experience, given everything that has gone on with the company in recent months and years? Let's start by looking at what Classic Plus, if it were to happen, might hypothetically include. I'm going to skip over the obvious stuff like adding a boob slider when you customise your character and the return of Epicus Maximus as the War Chief of the Horde, and I'll start by first looking at the smaller changes which might be added to the base game, because I consider these to be the most likely additions or alterations which Blizzard would make if they did develop Classic Plus. So I think some obvious changes which most people would be in favour of, and which would undoubtedly improve the player experience, would be the removal of the limit on the number of debuffs which can affect bosses. This stands at 16 in Vanilla Classic, and it's a feature which makes no sense and doesn't bring any further enjoyment to the game, other than as a means of knowing if your raid team consider you to be the simple jack of the group who can't be trusted to fry a fucking egg, let alone take up a debuff slot. It can go, as far as I'm concerned. Another feature which I think has to go is the ability to use world buffs in raids. We've seen what it does to the game, it's not fun. I don't even need to joke about it because it makes the game itself a joke. In terms of additions then, new spells and perhaps an additional row or rows of talents for all specs would add to a feeling of progression which could be achieved through completing new class quests or some other max level progression system without requiring an arbitrary extension to the level cap. And on the subject of class quests, I would really love to see them return. One of my favourite features of Vanilla was that feeling of class identity. If you play a Warlock, it should feel different than playing a Paladin, and in more ways than simply your combat rotation. This is an MMORPG after all. Class quests go a long way to providing a satisfying experience, tailored to whatever fantasy role suits you, and reminding you of the core themes of your class. So if we do ever get Classic Plus, I want to see it stacked with quests forcing rogues to come to terms with the obvious childhood trauma which caused them to roll that class, and druids to be forced to remain in aquatic form off the coast of Tanaris for 3 full weeks, in order to get in touch with their fishy side. On a more serious note, the major draw for me with Classic Plus would be the prospect of new zones, instances, and a story which wasn't written by a dude whose only desire beyond creating a scuffed Thanos in World of Warcraft is to regularly bend over backwards and sniff his own farts. There are already several areas which were intended to be released in patches for Vanilla but were cut or redesigned for TBC, including the original Hyjal zone, an early version of Hellfire Peninsula, as well as a Karazhan raid, and for those of you who like that PvP-ness action, there was the Ajara's Crater, which was a planned battleground that was cut. What this means is that there is already a ton of content which Blizz could make use of to build a solid foundation for a Classic Plus experience. We're not even getting into other ideas the community has speculated over for years now, such as a Dragon Isle zone or continent, an extended Scarlet Monastery area including a new raid. and these zones which were on the original vanilla map but were never expanded upon. But let's not forget that second big question. Can we even trust Blizzard to deliver? Their reputation is in the toilet at the moment. In fact, fuck that, I'm being too nice. They flushed their reputation down the bastard toilet, and it's currently stuck in a giant fatberg along with OnlyFans and Games Workshop. And no one wants to be there, right? Most of us at this stage really do doubt Blizzard's ability to not only recapture the spirit of a game which was changing into something markedly different as far back as 14 years ago, but also to make any version of WoW good in the first place now, especially when the only staff willingly working on site at Blizzard right now appear to be the building janitor and his fucking cat. Oh, and maybe a few suits from their union busting firm. Seriously though, I hope I'm wrong on both accounts. I hope that Blizzard is actually preparing to develop Classic Plus in the style of old school RuneScape, rather than just releasing fresh vanilla servers to cash in on players who want to stay in vanilla. And I hope that if they do produce a new version of old WoW, they do it properly, and use it as an opportunity to try and rebuild trust with the community, and demonstrate that they understand that a company can turn a tidy profit, whilst also caring about creative integrity and the desires of their customers. But Big Bobby probably needs to buy another yacht before the end of the summer, so we all know that's not going to happen. Fresh vanilla with Cash Shop Thunder Fury it is, boys. Time to put another shift in at the wage cage. Hey guys, Vulgrin here. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe even got a laugh out of it too. I know it's maybe a bit unrealistic, but I really do dream of a Classic Plus product for WoW. I doubt it'll ever come, but who knows, maybe they'll pull their finger out, eh? If you liked the video, you can let me know by leaving a like and a comment, and if you enjoy my style and would like to see more videos like this, do me a favour and subscribe. It makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Anyway, thanks for watching all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.